I hope you brought your working hard pants today. It's time to get started. We're gonna go straight into standing knee flexion. So we're gonna have our feet 4 inches apart and parallel. The pelvis is gonna stay neutral, and you can place your hands on your hips or onto a surface like a chair or a countertop to help you with your balance. The navel draws up and in as we transfer the weight into the left leg, but we don't wanna hang in the hip, and we're gonna float the right knee up to hip height. Notice I'm still centered as much as I can be over the midline of the body. The right foot comes back down to start. Weight shifts to the outer side of that right hip, and then we're gonna float the left leg up. So we're simply going to do this in place. This is warming our body up, warming up the core, and warming up the flexibility through the hips. It looks easy, but it's already hard for me. How about you guys? So we're already working hard, just trying to stabilize and not hang and kind of just, swing that knee up. It's really with intention that we're peeling up off the floor and intentionally setting it back down. If you want additional cardiovascular challenge while you're working through this standing series, you can bring the arms up and overhead. And whenever you need balance support, you can always just touch onto a chair or a countertop next to you. We're gonna do a few more on each side. Check in with your pelvis, make sure that it is still staying neutral. I'm gonna show you from the side to show you what I mean. We're still working together. We wanna keep the natural curve in the lumbar spine rather than curling under when we pick the leg up. Let's do the left side one more time. And the right side to finish. Bring it all the way down. If you have dumbbells nearby, go ahead and grab them. And we're gonna go into a squat in first position. Heels are touching, toes are turned out, 1 dumbbell in each hand. And let's go ahead and straight away bring the arms into a 90-degree bend, palms facing in. From here, don't move the arms yet. We are going to lengthen back into our squat. The knees are gonna peel open over the first toe, second toe, and the sits bones are broad. That's the bottom of our squat. We wanna keep our booty above our knees and the crown of the head long from the tailbone. We're gonna exhale to prepare. Inhale, we're gonna rise up. Exhale, let's do that one more time. Sits bones broaden as the inner thighs spiral forward. That's an exhale, creasing at the hips. Inhale, come all the way back to the top. Let's add the arms. We're gonna keep them in the bend, but they're gonna come to shoulder height, parallel to the floor. That's an exhale down and an inhale to narrow and gather. Inner thighs spiral forward. And then as we raise, the inner thighs spiral back, front side of the hips open. We're going for that full extension at the top. Kneecaps absorbing up into the quadricep and creasing under the back side of the tush. Exhaling as we lower, narrowing the corset to lift. Equal weight on all 4 corners of the feet. Really think about those inner thighs spiraling up to the sky as you lower into that squat. We're gonna go for 3 more here. We got some bridges coming up next. Last 2. Last 1. Come all the way up with intention. Set those dumbbells down, and we're gonna lay down on our back going into some bridges. Now Liza's gonna show us with both feet down, and Kim and I are gonna demonstrate with 1 leg extended up. So it can be a single leg or a double leg bridge. Lay all the way down on your back, and we're gonna have our arms long at our sides. Knees are glued together. From here, we're gonna peel the torso up, peel from the tailbone all the way up to the top of the bridge. Check in with your body. You can walk your shoulder blades down the spine. The kneecaps are reaching up to the top of the corner of the room in front of you, and we have openness on the front side of our hips with a melting sensation to the heart. We don't wanna pop the ribs out. From here, we're gonna keep the right foot down and keep the knees glued together, all right? That's really important. Knees stay glued together. And we're going to extend the left leg up and out at a diagonal. Check your pelvis, make sure it didn't rock. And if you're up for the additional challenge, peel the right heel off the floor 4 times. Now we're gonna roll down. So we're gonna roll down, keeping the left leg extended and the right heel up, rolling down through the spine. Hit neutral at the bottom, peel back up. Melting down from behind the heart. All 5 toes of that right foot are really helping to keep us engaged. Woo, lengthening up. Slowly melting down from behind the heart. Last one, keep that right heel up if you're up for it. This is the last one, we got it. And we're slowly lengthening down. And we're done already. Go ahead and fold that left leg back to start. Now we're going to take our hands behind the base of our skull, interlacing your fingers. This is important, guys. This is not for show behind your ears. We want to really hammock the weight of our head with our hands. So you're meeting that intentionally. You want to see the elbows from the corners of the eyes and check in, make sure your pelvis is still neutral as we float the right leg into tabletop position. Keep the pelvis quiet, and we're going to float the left leg up to greet it in tabletop position. We're about 4 inches apart, and our knees and hips are in a 90-90 bend. Now we're going to go into a crisscross. I'm going to swivel towards the left first. So my right leg comes long, and my rib basket rotates towards the left inner thigh. Left leg stays bent. Then we switch sides. Now the left leg is long, right knee is bent, and I'm rotating my ribs towards the right. Bring it back in. Swivel through the middle, inhaling as we extend. Exhale through the middle. Inhale as we extend. Liza is going to show us with her knees staying bent. And that's a great option if it feels aggressive to you to have the legs come long. And she's still getting that beautiful rotation and the length in the spine as we're working. Inhale as you rotate. Exhale through center. Inhale as you rotate. Beautiful, keeping the collarbones wide. And watch what's happening with the pelvis, making sure it stays neutral and the low back is not imprinting onto the floor. Let's do 2 more in each direction. It's all about that lowest rib rotating towards the upper inner thigh. It is not about elbow to knee. Ignore that. It's about that rib basket rotating long. Last one, rotating to the right. Bring it in, set the head down, and fold the legs back to the floor. All right, we got the bridge to go on the other side. You get to stay down here for just a touch longer. Knees are glued together, arms are long. Peel your body up into that bridge position. You choose if both feet are gonna stay down. If you wanna try the single leg challenge, knees stay glued together as the right leg extends at a diagonal. Check your pelvis, make sure it's staying level. Peel the left heel up. Now it's really fun. And we're gonna melt down from behind the heart, lowering all the way down with length as we work. So you can see that Liza's showing us a variation. Keep on going at your own pace. We're doing 4 times total. Liza's showing both knees down, and that gives us a broader base for stability with still length as she rolls. And Kim's showing us that single leg balance challenge up on the heel as she raises up, keeping the booty up, and then we melt from behind the heart first. And we have 1 more. I didn't lose count. I know you always think I lose count. I don't. There's the last one, melting from behind the heart. Beautiful. And that's the last one coming all the way down. We're going to flip onto our left forearm, going into our side bridge. We're going to do hip taps down to the mat on this today. Liza's going to show us with the bent knee. I have my left foot in front of my right, and Kim's going to go for the smallest base of support with her feet stacked. Shoulder is over the elbow. Lengthen the body out into the best diagonal you can. Make sure your head is in line with your spine. And now we're simply going to tap the left hip down to the floor and lengthen back up into your diagonal. Tap down to the floor and lengthen back up. Additional challenge, that right arm can reach to the sky as we elongate into the diagonal and lengthen to the floor. Notice that we're not crowding and shortening the top side of the waistline. It's with length, with intention as you reach and work. Now what's happening with your legs? We want to make sure those inner thighs are reaching away, away, away. Can they reach longer than the soles of your feet? You guys feel how that connects you to the midline of the body? Oh, good. Kim's talking to me. Liza? Not anymore. We're no longer friends. Hold the next one up for 5, for 4, 3, 2, and with intention, set it down. Let's flip straight over. We're going to go into some bear crawl lifts. All right. We're going to have our hands just below the shoulders, and our knees are directly below the hips, 4 inches apart, parallel, and toes flip under. From here, at the same time, that is the trick of this exercise. The 2 areas of focus are to keep the torso and the pelvis quiet, and at the same time, we're going to hover the right hand and the left knee off the mat. Right hand, left knee. Woo! And now set it back down. It requires intense stability. Left hand floats and right knee floats. And at the same time, set them back down. Right hand, left knee. Okay, here we go. Let's at the same time set them back down. Left hand, right knee. Set them back down together. Lengthen the tailbone from the crown of the head. We're gazing straight down at the mat to keep this back of the spine long. Set them down. Left hand, right knee. Just feeling that heat build up in the core. Straight back down. One more time, right hand, left knee, same time. Ooh, it's extra hold. Isn't that fun? Oh my God, and set it down, same time. Last time, left hand, right knee. Lengthen the tailbone from the crown of the head as we hold steady. And with control, bring them back down. All right, guys, this is one of my favorites. We're gonna do a single leg inversion. And the idea is we're gonna have our head down on the mat, but never putting any pressure on the neck. So take the crown of your head, the top of your head, in between the forearms, palms are flat, and we're gonna set it down onto the mat. Now that does not give us permission to mash our head into the mat or put any pressure on the neck. The forearms are lifting away, the collarbones are wide, even though your head is touching. So do you feel real supported through the back line of the body, guys? All right, come into a closed position with your knees and toes, and then we're gonna lengthen into 2 straight legs. Liza's gonna stay down on her knees. From here, we are going to take the right leg and float it up at a diagonal to the sky, and with control, tap the top of the toes to the mat. Again, right leg floats up, lifting away from the forearms. Exhale, bring it down. Again, 4 times total, up and back, with control, lengthening down. Last time. Up and back with control down. Flip the right toes under. Left leg is now lifting from the glam line. Tap it down. Lifting up and back. Last time. Up and back. Woo. With control, both toes are folded under. Knees come down to the mat and come up. Give yourself a second to clear the blood out of your brain, change your perspective on the world a little bit, and we're going to do our side bridge on the right forearm. So the right forearm comes down to the mat. You can choose right knee down, right foot in front of the left, or feet stacked. Wherever you choose, get that shoulder off of the ear, melting the shoulder blade down and around, and lengthen up into your best side bridge. You can think of this as a side plank also, yeah? All right, now we are going to, with length, tap the right hip down and bring it up. Watch that you're not rotating. On that first one, I wanted to kind of tip this top hip back as I went down, and we want to make sure we're keeping everything stacked and organized. Keep working as we lengthen and reach and lower down. Good. Find that inner thigh reaching long under the sole of the foot. We want to keep the head in line with the neck. And we're thinking about that shoulder blade wrapping down and around, and that's how we keep the back line of the body engaged and not just the shoulder cranking up around the ear. Will you show us what that would look like if we're hanging? That's no good. We want to find that beautiful length as we work. Let's do one more. And then we're going to hold for 5, 4, 3, 2. With control, we bring it back down to the floor. And let's rise on up to standing. Beautiful. We're going to go into our clock sweeps, and I highly recommend you get a chair or a countertop nearby to help you with the balance as you start to learn the flow of this movement. So we're going to have our right hand on the chair or the counter. Bring the feet into first position, and the sternum is over the pubic bone, so we're nice and aligned. With intention, keep the toe pad down on your mat as we bring that left leg forward, And now from the femur head, from the top of the thigh, we're gonna imagine the foot is at 12 o'clock, and now we're gonna sweep it through 9 and back towards 6. If you stop at like 7:32, that's fine with me. We don't wanna get back to 6 and look like this, shortening the low back. So stop behind your body, but wherever you can, keeping everything organized. All right, here we go. We are going to exhale, bring it back to 12. You're in external rotation. Sweep it around back towards 6, and you're internal. External here, internal rotation when we bring it back. External here, internal as we lengthen back. Keeping the torso organized, keeping the pelvis quiet. That's the trick here. So we're getting intense work through both legs, through the standing leg by not dumping into the right hip, and then through the left leg. Now, if you're looking for additional effort and a sincere balance challenge, we can reach in opposing diagonals. So that's going to look like this. My left arm is up as the left leg is back and the right arm reaches down. And then as I unwind, I'm going to bring it this way. So they're going to switch in opposing diagonals as I circle around that clock. That's really sincere challenge to the brain and to the body. So do what works for you. Try one arm, try no arms up and down, try two. See what works for you, but I'm rotating the torso as I extend the arms up and back. Last two. And last one, bring it all the way back to 12 and release. Okay, we're gonna do our flat back triceps. So we do want a chair or a countertop nearby and your dumbbells if you have them. We're going to come into our best L shape and the heel of our hand is gonna come onto the counter or the chair back. Now we're not hanging on it, we're not water skiing off of it. We're in the best L shape we can manage, feet are 4 inches apart and parallel. And now we're gonna take that left arm out to shoulder height and then lengthen it back alongside the spine. And it's simply a small reach. Now notice I didn't say get high. Think about reaching long. Lengthen the arm back rather than up. The core is active, navel is drawn up and in. Right shoulder blade is melting down the back line of the body. Sits bones are broad, inner thighs are spiraling forward. Last 4. We're gonna take the other side straight away. Last 2. Hold here with intention. Arm comes through the shoulder and back to the chair or counter. And now we're gonna go straight away into the right. Sweep it to the shoulder, then alongside the body, palm faces in. Long arm, reaching behind you rather than reaching up. So think about length as we work. Crown of the head reaches from the tailbone. Can you melt the heels into the floor a little bit more and feel those sits bones open even when we're not moving? Can you guys feel that little neurological opening? Last 3. Last 2. With intention, bring the right arm back to the chair and step forward to come out of that L shape. We're gonna set the dumbbells down and go right back into those clock sweeps on the other side. So this time we have our left hand on the chair or the counter. We're in first position with our feet, and we're gonna take the right leg in front of us to 12 o'clock. Now we're on the other side of the clock. So we're gonna sweep through 3 and then back towards 6, but if we stop at 4:17, that's fine too. External rotation, swiveling back to internal. External, notice the pelvis is quiet and the torso is quiet. That's major core stabilization all the way around in a 3D experience. And if you'd like to add that rotation, it's in opposition as we extend. So we're rotating in opposition, keeping the pelvis as quiet as we can. Nice long lines. Rib basket rotates. Arms reach. Last 3. This is the last one. And bring it all the way in. If you have your dumbbells, grab them again. We're gonna go into our standing saw. So we're gonna take our feet parallel, about shoulder width distance. Arms come out to the side at shoulder height. And with a flat back again, my feet are in parallel, we're going to lengthen down into a bend. From here, rib basket rotates towards the left, arms stay aligned with the shoulders, and then we bring it back to start. If the dumbbells feel aggressive, set them down and keep working. Rotating to the left on an inhale. Exhale, return to flat back. Inhale as you rotate, adding length. Exhale, back to start. Shoulders off of the ears. Really reaching the sits bones broad. Try to keep weight in the heels. I always want to kind of dump into the balls of my feet or grip onto the mat for dear life with my toes. So really think about melting all the way around, all the way to the soles of the feet, all 4 corners. Let's do 2 more. In theory, right? And last one. If you've got those dumbbells, set them away for now. And we're gonna go into our Demi plie on the right side. So again, you're gonna wanna have that countertop or chair to support your balance. Feet are parallel, 4 inches apart. And we're gonna reach the left leg back. So reach the left leg back behind you, toes are touching the floor. One Demi plie, that sounds pretty good, right? Sounds promising? Don't get too excited. We're going to soften that right knee, and the torso is now upright, even though our right knee is gonna have one bend to it. That is the last time that right knee bend changes, okay? Take the right arm up in front of you at about chest height. And now what we're going to do is tip over the top of that femur head that's holding steady. The torso is going to tip forward. The pelvis rolls over that femur head, and that's what asks that left leg to float back. Knee stays bent on the right leg as we inhale, return to start. Torso is upright, and we have the right knee still bent. Exhale, lengthen the left toes away from the crown of the head, and inhale, bring it back to start. So we want to work on a long line. You can almost think about this like an oil well, right? So we're in Southern California. We got several of those. Give me an even deeper knee bend, just a tiny bit right there. Gorgeous. And so Kim's femur head is holding steady, and the pelvis is working like this, tipping over it. A lot of times, like in those clock sweeps, we were moving the femur through the pelvis. Now this time the pelvis is working over that femur head. How's that feeling? It's good stuff, right? Let's hold that last one back. Hold. Really think about that right inner thigh spiraling forward. That's going to plug that femur head even more. Hold and smile. Last 3. We're just holding and breathing. Last 2. And come all the way up and out. Okay, guys. We're going to sit on down. Grab your dumbbells if you're so inclined. They're definitely not needed. It's plenty of challenge without them. And we're going to go into our rolling bicep curls. Legs come long in front of you. Palms face in, and we're at a 90-90 bend, sitting as tall as you can on your sitting bones. We're gonna lean with the flat back just an inch or two. Roll the tailbone under you. Rolling down, we're gonna get about halfway to the floor, and then the arms come up to the sky alongside your ears. Extend through the chest. Exhale, rounding forward, coming all the way back up to that sitting position. 90-90 with the arms. Lean 2 to 3 inches. Roll the tailbone under, articulating through the spine. Arms come up and overhead. Gaze to the sky. Exhale, round towards your toes. Bring it back to start. Just a few more of these. They feel delicious and are really wicked. Lengthen back. Roll under. Lengthen the arms up and around, gazing to the sky, an extension. Exhaling as we round. Bring it back. This will be the last one. Arms come to 90-90. Clean. Roll under. Really make it count. Find length, length, length. Peeling up. Arms up. Gaze to the sky. Extend the upper back. Exhale, round. And come all the way back up to sitting. Okay. Set the dumbbells aside if you have them. We're going to go into alternating leg teaser, and we're going to use our hands to help the femur head sink into the pelvis, keeping a flat back. So we're gonna lean back about 3 to 4 inches. My hands are behind the thighs, feet are on the floor to start with. And now both hands are gonna go behind the right thigh as I float that leg up into a teaser position. And I'm giving some downward traction to get that femur head sinking in there. You guys feel that? Beautiful. Keeping that flat back, we're going to set that right leg down, and now the left leg comes up. Same idea, tractioning down. And switch. Right leg comes up. And let's now pass them in the air. And switch. And switch. So the feet and knees are passing in the air. Switch and switch. The pelvis is staying quiet, the torso is staying quiet, and we're using those hands to provide a little traction to get the femur head sinking in, holding the pelvis quiet as we work. Last 4 on the right, 4 on the left, last 3. 3, reach long through the crown of the head. 2, 2. Last 1, 1, and release. Okay, let's come on up for that Demi plie on the other side. So we have a light touch on the counter or on a chair nearby. We are going to stand upright, and the right toes graze back behind us to get a long line here. Before we start, we're doing that one plie. Now you know the trick. You know it's no joking around, right? We are going to soften the left knee, torso stays upright. Arm comes in a half circle, right about chest height. From here, we're going to rotate over that femur head with the pelvis. That right leg floats up and back. As we tip forward, left knee stays bent, right leg stays long, and then we come back up to standing. All right, we're gonna exhale, creasing at the front side of that left hip, right leg reaches long. Inhale, come all the way back up to start. Now we wanna check in with that right leg, make sure it doesn't go outbound. We want it towards the midline of the body as we inhale and exhale. Exhaling as we crease forward. Right inner thigh spirals to the sky and comes a touch closer to the midline of the body. And that's gonna help us find that inner line. You guys feeling that? So if we send the leg outbound, you're gonna get into the outer side of the hip and skip that diagonal connection from the inner thigh to the opposite waistline. If we get that leg right in off the midline, then you're gonna feel that connection from that inner thigh to the left waist. Let's hold the next one back. Isn't that fun? Give me a tiny bit more knee bend here. Beautiful. Hold here. Lengthening that back leg. Beautiful. The inner thigh connects to the opposite waistline. And go ahead and tip all the way upright. Let's get those dumbbells, if you had them, on the other side for standing saw. We are shoulder width distance, parallel feet. Arms come out to shoulder height. And now we're going to fold forward, creasing at the hips as we exhale. On an inhale, we rotate towards the left and bring it back in. Exhaling as we rotate and bring it back in. Lengthening the tailbone from the crown of the head as the rib basket rotates on that inhale. Last 3. Last 2 with intention. Last 1. And we're going to intentionally lengthen all the way up back to standing. Last thing today before we stretch, we are going to go into our standing releves. We're in first position, heels touching, toes turned out. Hands can come onto your hips to start with. And what we're going to do is we're going to think about the inner thighs lengthening alongside the spine and out the crown of the head. That's what picked my heels up off the floor, not my calves just pushing, yes? On the exhale, with intention, we're going to imprint back down. On the inhale, the inner thighs draw up alongside the spine like suspenders, kneecaps absorb into quadriceps, and then we intentionally melt the feet down. Legs are going to stay long here. If you'd like to, you can add the arms, lengthening up and imprinting down, working all together. The entire body is working together, inhaling as we lengthen, shoulder blades melt down the spine. Exhale as you lower. Let's do 4 more. Really try not to let the calves take the load. The low belly draws the inner thighs up. We have 3 more. Inhaling as we reach towards the sky. All 10 toes are active. Last 2. This is the last one, and we're going to finish with a roll down. Melt the feet down into the floor. Come into about 4 inches apart, parallel position. Arms come up and overhead. We're going to nod the chin, rounding the spine like a candy cane, reaching down towards the floor. I'm going to have everyone give me a good knee bend, as much as you need to get your hands flat on the floor. You'll feel almost more of a stretch through those hamstrings. Do you feel that, guys? Even more than when we do a straight leg and kind of try to force it to the floor. This is really a nice eccentric stretch, and we can do a little miniature bend and stretch. So we're lowering and raising just a little bit, really with intention, sending breath to any area of your body that has tension or tightness. Let's bring the hands onto our shins. Before we move, let's elongate the legs. Keeping our hands on our shins, let's unwind and come into a flat back, gazing forward. And then we're going to exhale as we round down. And let's roll up once all together, hands grazing the shins as we slowly rise up, stacking the spaces between the vertebrae. Inhaling positive intention to your day. Exhaling and maintaining that posture. Fantastic job.